Welcome back to the weigh-in. Big fight, big results this weekend. You had this. There's a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about boxing. A lot to talk about MMA. But I'm just gonna. This was just gonna be on one specific thing. I'll do other podcasts. I think I'm gonna get just the audio out one this week. I'm gonna talk about one thing, and I think it's the thing everybody's talking about, and I'm just gonna talk about this one thing. Conor McGregor, right? I think you have to. If I'm gonna have a fight podcast, I'm gonna have to dedicate just this week to Conor McGregor. I'm gonna dedicate this one, at least this episode, to Conor McGregor. And no one's really getting to what the point that I saw from that fight and what I took from that fight. So let's break down the fight a little bit. Come out first round. Conor McGregor looked like what I thought he was gonna look like. What I said he would do. He came out very tight guard, moving in slowly, more of a boxing stance, more than ever a brawler stance, more than ever. And Poirier came out, looked wild. Legs were terrible. He was falling over the place, missing shots. Conor McGregor started pushing him back, started hitting him with actually a decent jab. Added a very good jab to his game. He started hitting him with jabs, looking for overhand lefts, started landing, right? Then Poirier got one shot for a takedown, got the takedown. I think that surprised everyone. It surprised Conor for sure, right? Conor works his way back to the gate, puts his back to the gate, sits against the gate, works his way up. Takes a little time though. It's not like he just popped right back up. It took some time, right? It took some time to get back up. Got up. Poirier had him against the fence. Conor reverses it, but was against the fence. Got some energy wasted there. He gets control, starts landing his shoulder strikes again, just like in the Cerrone fight. Starts landing knees to the body. He was doing pretty good, right? Doing pretty good. Gets space. I believe they get space again. Land shots. But he's getting caught. He was getting continuously caught with Poirier's lead right hook. He was getting caught with it. Like it was in between his. And it was similar to a boxing fight that just happened. It was that Conor's so used to countering, right? That when he sees that open, his automatic thing is like, I'm going to release my left hand when this guy, and remember the two southpaws, and when this guy releases his right hand, I'm going to release my left hand because he sees the opening. But every time he did that, he got countered. Like it was in between. He wasn't even getting countered. He was just creating the opening, and Poirier was capitalizing it with his right hook. And so like every time he would go like this, Conor would see it and say, "Oh, there's the opening," and go for the shot. And then Poirier just came around, boom, would land. Right, and that was landing. I saw it, and I tweeted, and I was like, that shot's there for him. But right now, that's all Conor around. Conor was catching his foot, pushing it back, not really doing much with it, but still was making moves on that. And then you go in the second round, right? You come to the second round, and going when they walked out for this fight and everything like that, Conor was very loose. He was like extremely loose, not just loose as in like he looked like he was ready to fight, but like loose as in like he was like having too much fun. You know what I mean? Like he was like playing with the crowd, dancing with the music and everything like that. And it would look similar to what the Nate Diaz fight was the first one when he got smoked. And this fight, Poirier was played out oddly similar to that fight. So Conor comes back in the second round, right? At this point, Poirier had landed a few calf kicks, right? And his calf kicks is something it's going to be the most interesting weapon going, I think, in right now in MMA. There's always like a weapon that someone's using, like George St. Pierre started introducing the jab. Certain there was a point where wrestlers were just using takedowns and then just too much was stay in the guard, like T. Ortiz would stay in the guard and just work there and keep the control there, right? It was just like there's just certain points in MMA where it's like one move it works. It just one move is like dominant at that point. And the calf kick might be that move. You've seen it happen to Sean O'Malley, his leg turned off. You're seeing now Conor McGregor, his leg turned off. So Poirier is landing a calf kick that they has strategized in the fight. And Conor McGregor doesn't know how to check it correctly. And also Conor McGregor is being very lazy with his legs. It's not the same Conor McGregor that's bouncing in and back and forth. He's trying to get more power. He's trying to be a little bit more of like a pressure fighter, a brawler type thing. And he's just sitting there and he's just eating it, right? But he's landing big shots. But there's a point in the second round he lands like a solid left hand. I seen him land the shot and have the defeat in his face after he landed it. That Poirier was still standing. Poirier kind of just shakes his head. He's still standing from the shot. And I just seen that Conor McGregor is going through what Conor McGregor goes through. And this is the point where I don't think that a lot of people talked about. Is that Conor McGregor had quit in his face for a fight that he was winning. He had quit. Why? Because it was going to be harder than he thought it would be. Conor McGregor went in and said he could knock him out in 60 seconds. I said I thought he could do it too because of the mistakes that Poirier made. I thought Conor McGregor. But the thing is, Conor McGregor did capitalize on all the things that he probably saw going into that fight. He capitalized on. He landed all the shots and everything. He capitalized on it. Poirier showed heart and he didn't fade. He didn't fold right to the pressure. And the same as Nate Diaz, who Conor McGregor landed all the shots he wanted to land on him. It wasn't like if Conor McGregor was having a hard time getting his offense going in the first round against Nate Diaz. Same thing with Poirier. He wasn't having a hard time getting his offense going. It was just a person that wasn't going to fold to the shots. It was going to take an extra something from Conor. And when that comes, right, Conor does not want to do that. He does not have that in him. It's a lack of heart. And it's something that's not really talked about. But it's something that Paul Malignaggi brought up. It's something Floyd Mayweather had brought up. It's probably, I think it was something like Khabib had brought up. He doesn't have that extra umph in him to go and get that KO when he needs it, the stoppage. I know this from personal experience, right? I know this from me sparring in gyms, right? Now, to me, that old joke I always use on the best 0-1 fight in the world, right? The joke I always use. I have experience sparring at Wildcard Gym, sparring good boxers. I know a flaw of mine, right? That you have to be able to acknowledge your own flaws. I know a flaw of mine is the same thing that Conor has going in his mind. The same mental thing is that I know that if the sparring session starts off good, right? And I'm getting everything going, and my defense is working, my offense is flowing, everything. I can go a lot of rounds, right? It's a mental thing. But as soon as if I start off shaky, right, and the guy's landing shots, it's really hard for me to gear it in my head to say I'm gonna have to put in the heart and effort to reshape this going in my direction. That's what separates guys that are really great at boxing and the guys with the right mentality. That's what that is. I didn't have that. Now maybe you could work towards that. I don't know. I never truly gained it, right? I never really gained it. I don't think Conor McGregor has that. And when he was in featherweight and he would hit a guy and he would fold, right? And then when he hit some of these lightweights, they would fold. When he went to welterweight and Nate Diaz didn't fold, he fell. He folded. Even when he's landing shots, he folds. Because the shots aren't doing what he wanted. So then he starts losing himself, right? And this is what happened with Floyd Mayweather, right? I think Floyd Mayweather really carried him, but there was a point where Conor McGregor's shots were not doing anything. And Floyd Mayweather started putting pressure on him, and he's in shape. He's not out of shape. Conor McGregor didn't cut down to 155 and come in out of shape. It's not the problem here. It's not ring rust. It's the extra something in you, right? To get the fight, to be at that elite level, right? Floyd Mayweather, if he starts losing a fight, like let's say Cotto, right? Cotto put a lot of pressure on Floyd Mayweather. He did a lot of things that were effective. Floyd Mayweather dig deep and said, "I will beat you at your own thing," because he has that in him. Manny Pacquiao, you will have to sleep on the floor, right, for him to stop coming at you to try to get a win. Conor McGregor doesn't have that. He showed it one time in the Nate Diaz fight, right? He showed it one time in the Nate Diaz fight. But remember, there's points in that fight where he almost got stopped. That was the one time he showed it in that fight. Everything else I've ever seen, he's never showed that. He's never showed that. I've even seen him complain when Chad Mendes was on top of him for the takedown. He does not. That's the key part is lacking in this game. And people are saying he says the ring rust. It's not that, right? It's not the ring rust. It's not. His game was sharp. He came in sharp. It wasn't the ring rust. Okay, the ring rust wasn't gonna answer for you not checking that kick. The ring rust wasn't gonna answer for him getting hit with those shots. It wasn't the ring rust. He did everything he wanted to do in the fight. The fight played out how he wanted it to play out. The only thing that he thought was that Poirier would fold, like he did last time. He didn't, and when he didn't, Conor McGregor's eyes in the second round changed to where he knew he was in trouble. Now, of course, his leg going out is a major factor of that. But remember Conor McGregor fought Mendes with the bad knee. Remember, he fought with the bad knee. I think he tore his ACL going into that fight. He walked out on crutches on that same night. He walked away with the victory on that one. He walked away on crutches this one. He had given in on this one. Now, you can also say, Conor McGregor's a millionaire. He doesn't need a fight. He does not need a fight. And there's it's a difference from a guy even though it's $1 million, a guy making $1 million to a guy making $25 million on the night. Right? Add that in with Conor McGregor's already, to me, lack of heart in previous fights. It's no longer you're gonna get that Conor McGregor. Now he might come back and he would beat us for it. I would think if they rematched it, Conor McGregor got embarrassed. He's gonna come in. Desmond Poirier's not gonna change too much in his game. He's gonna be ready for that calf kick. He's gonna train it. He's gonna do all these things, and he'll probably win that fight. Right? He probably wins that fight. I think I'd pick him in the rematch. I would pick him in the rematch. But then this is what you're gonna get for Conor McGregor. And then he's gonna come back. And another guy's going to do something a little different. And he's going to survive a few rounds. And then Conor McGregor's going to give up again. And then that guy will either knock him out, tap him out. And then Conor McGregor will come back and beat him. He does not have the heart to stay consistent. Consistency is a skill. He doesn't have it. He does not have it. And I seen it in the fight, and no one talked about it. And people said there was the ring rust or he's out of shape and everything. It wasn't any of that. His fatigue is from getting hit and being in a dogfight. And his mind starts working on, his mind starts working on him and says, this is going to be harder. This is going to get harder. He's not going to go away. He's getting stronger. And it starts folding and folding and folding. And then until he's done. And he's out on the floor and he's a meme for everyone on Twitter. That's what it is with Conor McGregor. That fight was devastating to Conor McGregor's career, legacy, everything, all those things. He is pretty much equivalent to Dustin Poirier. If you're looking at career-wise, the only thing Dustin Poirier doesn't have is the belts. But he has the same big-name wins. He has the same, amount of wins, a good run. They're very close. I do not think Dustin Poirier is an elite fighter. I do not think that. I don't have him in the same realm as John Jones, Khabib, or Izzy. Right? Or where I had Conor McGregor up there. Now Conor McGregor drops off that list. He's on there with George St. Pierre. Those guys, he's not there no more. He fell off. That was a big, devastating loss in Conor McGregor's career. Dustin Poirier is a guy that he's kind of halfway out himself. He's telling you he doesn't like fighting. He's telling you he doesn't like the training. He's already on his way out himself. And he showed more in that fight than Conor McGregor did. I think that we're never going to get the Conor McGregor that had that run, short-lived run, struck while the iron was hot, made the most of what you can in that run. But you're never going to get that guy again. I don't think he'll ever be a champ again unless they make this a title fight when he rematches Poirier. I don't think he could do that. I mean, if the UFC is all about the best fighting the best, Chandler made his case. You still have Gaethje. You still have Oliveira. You can't give Conor McGregor a title shot after losing to Poirier in a rematch. You can't do it. I'm not sure that he ever wins the title again. Maybe he comes back and wins this fight. I think that he has a lot of distractions. I don't know if he really wants to do this. I think I think the boxing is out now. I don't really think how that makes sense. I think that we might have seen the end of Conor McGregor, and if we didn't, we're coming very close to it. And he's not what we thought he was, and not what I personally thought he was. And I think that he's one of the most talented guys ever fighting. I mean, I still think that. I can see it. What he does, he's very talented. But there's something. There's the things that make a fighter: his heart, his mind. The things that you can't really see physically. Those things that would make a fighter great. Conor McGregor lacks a lot of those, and they exposed themselves, and that's what we saw this past weekend. Thank you for listening. This has been The Weigh-In.